Hey everybody. Always get nervous for these things. So if this like gives you the EBGBs, like having to talk to people, I get it. I'm wearing my Be Courageous sweatshirt for you. But I'm so excited that y'all are here. And I know some of y'all have heard my story, but I plan on kind of talking about it in a little different way and really focusing in on what my biggest concern was when I said yes to this. Hey, Brandy. But to start off, my name is Jessica Turner. I live in a very small town in Louisiana called Eunice. I am a mom to 4-year-old identical girls, Adeline and Annabelle, and married to my high school sweetheart. We are quickly approaching 19 years that we have been spending life together. And I will tell you, the last couple of years since I've been a part of this tribe and just everything about this opportunity, our marriage has been like rock solid, like on a totally different level because of everything that kind of plays into this. Because it really is like we're living our life together. And so I hope that encourages you that we're not just here to talk about how to make money or how to get healthier. It's really every single aspect of your life if you embrace this. But I am quickly approaching my 4-year anniversary as a coach, which is mind-blowing. And I have a lot of similarities with Morgan, but also a lot of like really hard differences. I was vaguely familiar with Beachbody, did not know that coaches existed. In my own little world, I hated social media. I hardly ever did anything on it. I maybe shared a picture or two of my girls who were 8 months around whenever I kind of got introduced into this life that was just bizarre to me. And I was your like picture perfect, like she has everything you would ever want. Again, married to my high school sweetheart, had these 2 beautiful little girls that were hell to carry. I had a horrible pregnancy, was in and out of the hospital, bed rests, the whole ordeal. And then had NICU time and just not a very fun experience. But they were home with us. We had so much to be grateful for. I was a veterinarian, very respected profession, right? And I seemed like I had it all together. You guys, I was that person that I do not ask for help. I'm good. Like, life is great. You will not know one negative thing that is going on behind these doors because I spent my whole life trying to be accepted. And there was a lot of things that I had kind of like shoved in the closet that I wasn't recognizing. But the truth was I was in a horrible place. I was so depressed. I was in major denial. Everybody kept telling me that this was normal. I had twins. It's a lot. I was trying to work at the same time. My marriage was falling apart. We were constantly fighting. We never spent any time together. And I was not happy. And it reflected, you guys. It reflected across the board. It reflected in everything I did. I was so far from the mom I wanted to be. I hated it. Like Morgan mentioned, like I would just sit here and be like, is this seriously what I'm going to be living with the rest of my life? Because like, I didn't want to be home. Like I went back to work gladly. My boss joked with me whenever I found out I was having twins, and he was like, you're not coming back to work. Like you're crazy. You're going to want to be home with those babies. And I was like, no, you're crazy. Like never in a million years did I want to be home with my kids, even before I had them. So I eagerly went back to work, but I was just a hollow shell, you guys. I was so miserable, and I finally sought help, and even with medications and all this stuff, I was just getting nowhere. And so I had this visit with my doctor, who had gotten really close to me because I saw her so much during my pregnancy, and she knew me well enough that she knew I needed to take care of myself. I needed to be active again. I needed to pay attention to what I was putting in my body. Like Morgan, I was so disgusted with what I looked like because I have a history with disordered eating too. And I would obsess about it. And so I left that doctor's office. I remembered this girl that kept bugging me about a challenge group and told my husband that I was so afraid of where I would be if I didn't. And I gave her a month, and she changed my life. And you guys, I wanted to quit on day 3. I reached out to her, and she talked me off the ledge, you know. But when she introduced coaching to me, I literally laughed. Like, are you freaking serious? Like, when would I ever have time to do anything else? Like, I'm literally staying above water as we speak. And that day, I got to work, and I love my boss. He's like a grandfather to me. And he had asked me, at that point I was working 3 days a week with all intentions to go back to my regular schedule, which was at least 4 days. And he had asked me when it was going to happen, and I just wasn't well enough to be able to take on that responsibility. And I knew that. And so I got to work that day, and he told me that he hired somebody opposite of me because he needed the help. And so I was tied to my 3 days. It didn't really matter. And so I remember sitting at my desk at lunch and messaging my coach and saying, can you talk to me real quick? I have some questions. And so she hopped on the phone with me. I remember walking outside by the kennels, and I was like, how much time is this going to take? I don't have time. And she said, I maybe spend 30 minutes in the morning and check in with my challengers and, you know, just reach out to a couple of people and do the same thing at night. Like, I reach out to a couple of people, love on them, encourage them, invite them to be a part of this, and love on my girls that are doing it with me. Like, easy peasy. And she had just gotten started, but I was like, okay, I think I could do this. I think I could do that. Plus, I absolutely fell in love with Shakeology, which I was the biggest skeptic of, you guys. Like, I made sure there was a money back guarantee because I was returning that crap. But it gave me life in a glass. So I wanted to save money. I was terrified of going back to where I was by myself. So I wanted the accountability and that need to be able to bridge that income gap, because, hello, twins are freaking expensive, was that kick in the butt I needed. And so I remember going home telling my husband, hey, I signed up to be a coach. And within maybe 48 hours of signing up, I just saw the potential, you guys. And I really, again, I had not been watching anybody. I didn't really know anybody that did this like legit, but I saw Megan's example and started seeing, you know, these stories and watching these videos of coaches that were doing this, and like, it was like real, like they were making real money. And so I automatically knew what I was showing up for. I knew I had a goal that I was working towards. And I think that is so significant, you guys. If you don't know what is going to get you to show up every day, because this business is super simple. It's so simple, you guys. It's anybody could do it, but you have to do it consistently. And when you're your own boss, it's very easy to find excuses and waste time. And so I had a very crystal clear vision. And at that point, it was just to make up those lost days of income. I had no desire whatsoever to leave my job. And so I looked at my schedule. Again, my girls were like 9 months at this point. So super unpredictable. I knew when I was going to work. I knew I had a lunch break that I was currently wasting, gossiping with the techs. And so I looked at my schedule, found pockets of time that I knew I was wasting. I used to watch so much crap TV, like Millionaire Matchmaker, just you name it, like the stupidest stuff. But I got really real with myself, and I started respecting my time. And I started looking at my time as money. And if I wanted to make this work, I knew I needed to carve out intentional time to learn about the basics, share how this was already changing my life, and just pour into myself, do my workouts, you know, get better with meal planning, pour into PD. PD has absolutely changed my life, you guys. I have uncovered so many skeletons in my closet and have been able to heal and manage things better. But I knew what I was doing. I knew what I needed to do, and I spent the majority of my time, because it was maybe an hour to 2 a day when I was first starting, sharing this with others. And it started with people really close to me. It started with old classmates from vet school that I knew in the bottom of my heart that they were probably struggling with a lot of the same like emotional, mental demands that our profession has. And I just didn't think. I didn't care. Like, I went from never showing up on social media to showing up every day because I knew what I was working towards. I knew that this was a business. I always looked at this as a business. Once I made that switch, I just always treated it like a business. And hopefully I'm not rambling. I can't see how long I've been on here. If somebody could type the time, that would be awesome. But I quickly saw how much this was filling my cup. And once I started healing and getting healthier mentally and physically, I actually enjoyed my kids, and I saw what my boss referred to, and I did want to be home. So within 2 months, I flip-flopped from wanting to have that income I was losing to wanting to drop to only 2 days. And I got really like strategic with that, you guys. My husband is a pharmacist. He does numbers. We sat down, broke down what my pay was currently, what it needed to be for me to go to 2 days. We planned. We treated it like a business. And so I had that front and center, and I was able to step away part-time after a couple of months. And then after 2 years, I said, you know what? I don't want to practice at all anymore. And I think it's so important for, like, if you coming to this, really looking at the opportunity as a means of being a solution for a problem that your family has. You will get that solution, but you have to look at it that way. And the other thing I want to share that's dealing with time, but in a different sense. Never once did I come into this, even though I felt like I was totally clueless, you guys, because again, I had not been watching anybody. I didn't know what coaching was. I knew this was something that I was going to be in for the long haul. Like, I wasn't going to be, I'm just going to give it 3 months and see how this goes. Because, hello, anybody that starts a business knows that you're not going to be like rolling in the money in 3 months. Like, that is just insane. And the fact that we don't even have to invest anything to start a business besides our own like health is ridiculous too. So I, from the very beginning, looked at this as the same way I looked at veterinary school. I did not go to school to be any kind of social media personnel. I was not a certified trainer. I was not a nutritionist. Wasn't any of these things. And I surely didn't know how to talk to people. I was so bad with people, you guys. It's part of why I hated practice. I would live in surgery. Like, I would beg my boss to let me do surgery all day. I had everything working against me. But I looked at it as there was going to be a steep learning curve. But I had all of these insane examples of women that were no different than me, women and men, that were creating like their dream job. They were creating whatever they wanted, whatever success looked like to them. And so why not me? Like, why can't I do that? So I encourage you, like, if you do take this leap, don't say you're going to give it a month or 3 or even 6. You've got to give it time. Like, I finally feel like I am like, all right, I know how to do this. Like, I'm a good coach. I got this, like, but it's because I've been doing it for almost as long as I went to vet school. And then you got that, like, every new step you take, like, oh man, I mastered studying. I know how to take a test, like, real great. And then you're thrown in the real world and you're expected to talk to people and actually perform surgery. It took me forever to have any confidence in that. But think of how ridiculous it would have been if I would have went to my first job and was like, this is just too hard. Like, I give up. Like, this is not worth it. I'm just not even going to try. Like, no, it's insane. But so many people look at this opportunity in that similar light, and it just blows my mind. Oh, Brandy, we help you with that. Like, literally, like, one-on-one mentoring. Like, yeah, you would never be just like, here you go, like, go talk to people. And that's one last thing I want to say. I love people now. I love meeting new people. I can talk to a stranger about anything now, and actually enjoy it. That stuff like that used to make me want to throw up. I've just grown so much and have recognized that so many of my insecurities were 100% things I needed to work through, and that's why I never wanted that interaction with people. And my life is just so much richer now, because we're meant to connect with people. And I think when you come from a place where like this truly is a gift, and like it's changed your lives in ways you've never imagined, and you start seeing that happen in people that you are sharing it with, never a day in my life have I felt like I was selling anything, because I know so many people are hiding like I was, and they're just too scared to ask for help. And so I keep reaching out to them and just letting them know that like they're so far from alone, and there's people out there that want to help them. Thank you, Brandy. All right, I always ramble too long, and we're supposed to stay around 10 minutes, and I'm probably already at like 15. So I really hope that helped y'all with time. Time is precious. Time is money. And so many of us are so busy, but it's doing really stupid things that have absolutely no alignment with our priorities or where we're wanting to go in this life. And when you really sit down and ask yourself, what do I want? Where do I want to be in 5 years? What do I want to be doing with my family in 10 years? When you start asking those questions, because nobody asks those questions, you just don't. And you start visualizing that and believing that it could be your reality, you start treating time differently. You find time for what matters, just like you find time to work out for 20 minutes a day if your health matters to you. All right, Brandy, thank you so much for the love. I hope everybody has a wonderful day, and I hope to see as many of you possible joining us, because this year's going to be pretty awesome, and you probably want to be on our next trip. Bye.